Sports plus life.
We got us a new president. Joe Biden did his thing. And Kamala, first African-American female vice president in history. Let me tell you about President Petty, though. My guy, 45. He is not even conceding, not even acknowledging the fact that he has lost the presidential election. And he's saying, oh, he's not going to leave. It was a fraud. Bullshit. Man, look, take this L and take your ass and go ahead and go on with the next chapter of your life. Your 4-year lease is up in the White House. It's not going to be renewed. So take the L, take your ass, move on with the next chapter of your life, bro. Deuces.
Sports plus life.
This fight between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones on November 28th could arguably be the biggest fight in boxing. Arguably. Is that sad that a couple of legends in their 50s that are fighting is going to garner so much attention? Or is it the fact that maybe people are so in love with nostalgia that we're not ready to truly let our heroes go? It's been 2020, bro. It's been crazy, but you know me. You know Iron Mike is my boy.
Sports plus life.
Lil Wayne endorsed Trump. I mean, what more do I have to say? Lil Wayne endorsed Trump. Hey, you know that Donald Trump plan is gonna work. You know it's gonna work because I don't want him to take my money. Baby, I already took my money. Weezy, baby.
Sports plus life.
College football is in trouble. Okay, the NFL is going to finish come hell or high water. They're not going to sit there and watch basketball and baseball and hockey finish their seasons and them not finish theirs. But college football, on the other hand, they are in trouble. This COVID stuff has turned the college football season into a wreck. And you know what? I don't feel sorry for them because you know why? They should have paid the players any freaking way.
Sports plus life.
Ooh, it's almost Christmas time, dog. It's almost Christmas time. You know what the best gift that any woman can give their man if he's under the age of 40, maybe 45? Ooh, the music stopped for this one. No, the best gift that a woman could give her man is more sex. I'm being serious. You don't have to get your man a thing, but if you give him more sex, yeah. More exercise for my dick, motherfucker.
Sports plus life.
On the gridiron or courtside, you know what time it is. It's sports plus life. Sports plus life. Ringside or front court or field pass, we ballin' no. Knuckle up or buckle up. I tell it like it is when I'm on my show. Home run, slam dunk, knockout, or gossip go. Sports plus life. Yeah. Sports plus life. Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What it is? What is really good? It's your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns, here for another episode of Sports Plus Life. And y'all already know it's going down today. We got a whole lot to talk about, yeah. So get what? Turn it off, turn it off, turn it all the way off, boy. Bow! Okay. Again, how's everybody doing today? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This here is another episode of Sports Plus Life, that there sports podcast that give you all of the goodness and the hot topics that is in the world of sports. And my, oh my, do we have a lot of hot topics going on in sports as well as we got them hot topics that revolve around a thing called life if need be. But I mean, it's a lot going on in sports right now. Everything that's going on in life is pretty much the stuff we've been hearing about all 2020. Presidential election. Thank God that's over with. Coronavirus. I thank you. Vaccine. When's it coming? Unemployment. We already know. Death total goes up and up and up and up. That's been the main topic of conversation when it comes to life going on in 2020. But, 2020 is almost over. And, it's a lot of sports to get into, and that's what I do, okay? That is what I do. I hope everybody has had a great day, a productive day. It's getting chilly out here now in the Richmond, VA. It's finally starting to feel like winter is around the corner After one day feeling like winter, the next day feeling like spring, damn near summer. But it is what it is. But what I do know it is Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. Okay? We have passed Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a safe, productive Thanksgiving. It is now Christmas time, dog. That what time it is now. It is almost Christmas time. And now we got this, we got to buckle down because it's Christmas time, New Year's, dog is barking downstairs. I think my son just got home. A lot going on right now at the same time. But, without further ado, because I'm going to break these segments down in 10-minute increments because if not, I could go on talking for hours and hours and hours, and it is already past 6:30 in the PM, so this won't be uploaded until later on tonight. If anybody listens to it, it'll probably be tomorrow, whatever. I don't care. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to it, bruh. All right, you know what? You guys already know where I'm starting. It was about what I was so hype about last week when I did the episode last week. The fight, the big event between the two Hall of Fame legends of the boxing world, between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I'm going to tell you something. That event itself did not disappoint. It did not disappoint at all. For only $50, you definitely got your money's worth. You had musical acts between fights. You had French Montana. Sway Lee came to join him. You had Wiz Khalifa. Wiz did his thing. You had the dude St. John. Yeah, St. John. I had to think about it for a quick second. And then you had Snoop not only rapping but also commentating. So the event itself was great. Now, the fight between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, for two guys over 50, it was very entertaining. I tell you what, Tyson Jones, for two over 50-year-olds, and it being an exhibition, was more entertaining than Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. I don't give a damn who chooses to disagree with me. Watch both fights, and you tell me which one was more entertaining. Because, first of all, the fight was called a draw. Okay, that was BS. Okay, that was BS. Because if you had eyes, clearly you saw that Mike Tyson beat Roy Jones easily. But what shocked me the most, though, bro, is that the fight went the whole 8 rounds. Now, granted, they were 8 2-minute rounds, and I think while they were both complaining about it when the fight was first announced, I think they really appreciated the 2-minute rounds, being the fact that these guys this fight didn't happen 20 years ago. But what shocked me, that's the outcome that I did not see coming. I did not see Mike Tyson winning in a decision. And like I said, it was called a draw, but everybody who watched the fight knows that Mike Tyson won, and Mike Tyson won easily. Mike was pounding Roy in the body and caught him with a double left hand, left to the body, left to the head. At the end of the second round, Roy buckled a little bit, and after that, you got the sense that Mike could drop Roy at any time, but I think Mike was really doing this for conditioning because, as he said after the fight, he's gonna do this again. Mike looked great. Roy didn't look too shabby. Roy looked like he was still fighting with a life raft around him. He held Tyson a lot. He tried to throw fast combinations, but after Tyson sapped him in the body, there was really no power left from Roy Jones. He was fighting pretty much rounds 3 through 8 with a life raft around him. But it was very entertaining. Mike Tyson surprised me. His stamina was on point. He was sharp the entire fight. The head movement was there consistently. The feints were there. The footwork was there. Mike fought such a technical, disciplined fight. It was very impressive. While a lot of people said, well, Mike can't outbox Roy, and that was the complete opposite. And we have to remember that Roy Jones, in his prime, what he depended on mostly was his athleticism. And when that athleticism erodes you, what do you have? He was able to keep his hands up, but Mike Tyson was the superior boxer in there. Of course, we all knew he was the heavier hitter, and he said that after the fight. He said, I know that everybody knows I could have knocked him out, or I could knock anybody out anytime I want, but I wanted to go the distance. I wanted to see how I felt. He said he could do everything better. Said he also admitted he smoked a blunt before the fight. But hey, nobody's testing you. It's an exhibition fight. So do you, Mike.
Biatch.
But he fought a technical, disciplined fight, and that really made me happy. Mike Tyson, granted it was 8 2-minute rounds, but Mike Tyson hasn't gone the distance in a fight since 1991, his second fight against Donovan Razor Ruddock. Now, people are saying, hey, maybe they should fight a rematch. No, they shouldn't. I'm just being honest with you. No, they shouldn't. Mike Tyson should move on to bigger, better things. The event itself was a blast. I'll get into that in a minute. But as far as the future in boxing for Mike Tyson, well, 5 minutes is up. I wanted to discuss first the actual Mike Tyson-Roy Jones fight. I have. Now let's go on to some unfinished business. And I truly mean unfinished business, as yesterday, Evander, real deal Holyfield, has called out Mike Tyson. Yes, Evander Holyfield has seen how much revenue was brought in from that fight, and Evander Holyfield wants to throw his name in the ring to get that bag. And you know what? I ain't mad at him. And he's not only has he called Mike Tyson out, he's talking tough. He said, look, we wanted to make the fight, but all we heard was excuses, okay? Sign the contract, get in the ring, Tyson. That came out of the mouth of Evander Holyfield. And you know what? I'm all for it. I'm all in. I've been wanting Tyson Holyfield 3 for the last 23 goddamn years. I'm just being real. I want to see it. I thought we'd see it as soon as Tyson said, I'm back, because not too long after Tyson came out with a training video and said, I'm back, who came out with a training video and saying that they're back? Evander, real deal Holyfield. So, you see the event. Triller is racking up. Snoop Dogg was a huge success commentating those two fights. Snoop made it so hilariously funny. Well, I'll get into Snoop. I'll get into Snoop in a minute. But it would be a big event. What I would envision is having this event perhaps in late spring, early summer, around late May or early June. Having the event then, because hopefully vaccines and everything from this damn COVID will have come in, and then you can definitely have it back at the Staples Center. Have it back at the Staples Center or Vegas, somewhere where you can attract, a nice large crowd, because I don't give a damn what anybody says. The people who said that they weren't going to watch the fight or took it as a joke ended up watching the fight. The pay-per-view numbers were amazing for this fight between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Between 1.2 and 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. That's crazy. That's done bigger than the last about 3-4 Manny Pacquiao fights that didn't involve Floyd Mayweather. Tank Davis just fought 2 weeks before the Mike Tyson fight. Didn't come anywhere near those numbers. So the drawing power of Mike Tyson is still at a crazy popular rate. And then you throw in Evander Holyfield and all the history that they have. I don't think Mike would be pulling any punches with Evander Holyfield, because even though they've become friends, there's some real history there. Okay? And Evander Holyfield said, we need this fight for both of our legacies. I don't think they do, because it would be an exhibition fight. But hell, once you get that old male testosterone and pride on the line, and everybody knowing the fact that Holyfield won the first 2 fights, and particularly what happened in the second fight, no, I don't think anybody would be pulling any punches. Evander Holyfield stays in tip-top shape all the time. I don't think conditioning would be a problem with him like it seemed to be for Roy Jones. 210 is just not Roy's weight, not to be in a boxing ring. Roy had titties, but he stayed upright. He looked tired. He looked beat to hell after the 8 rounds. But, it is what it is. You don't have to worry about conditioning with Evander Holyfield because he's a gym rat. He stays in the gym 24/7. He stays in shape 24/7. Holyfield probably ready to fight now, to be honest with you. Maybe if Holyfield would need a good possible month of training before he would be in tip-top shape, because Evander Holyfield stays in shape. But I'm saying I'm all for it. Let's get it done. Let's do it. Tyson Holyfield 3. Now, what I wanted to see at first was maybe Mike Tyson fighting Shannon Briggs at the Barclays Center, because that would be a battle of Brooklyn. It would ring bells in New York, but Tyson Holyfield 3 is simply bigger. It just is what it is. It's bigger. It's a bigger fight, bigger names. There's a rivalry there, a rivalry that's been going on for over 30 years between these two guys. And it should culminate with a third fight, and I mean a fight. No play fight, because that's honestly what Evander was talking about at first, a scripted fight. This ain't WWE, bro. This is boxing. Be 8 rounds. It could be an 8-round exhibition, 2-minute rounds. Trust me. I'm pretty sure. Tyson, I'm sure now has a new appreciation for the 2-minute rounds. Holyfield will too, once his ass gets hit. Once he gets hit. Now, granted, his style has always matched up perfect against Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson's mental is in such a great place. I think that fight outcome would be very different. And speaking of fights that was just crazy and the outcome happened to be a lot different than what I thought it would be. Next 10 minutes, Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. I mean, damn.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
Former NBA slam dunk champion, Nate Robinson against Jake Paul. You have got to be kidding me. I mean, I feel bad for Nate. Because, Jake Paul laid him out. I mean, he laid him out 3 times. 3 times. And the last time, the third and final time, put him to sleep. It's like 3 strikes, you're out. And believe me, his ass was out. And I mean, Nate Robinson, I feel bad because I just want to know who the hell trained him. You know, Nate Robinson just came in there just flailing away. And he didn't have any defense. Nate Robinson came there with no defense, no defensive plan whatsoever. He was charging straight in, no head movement. And I'm like, bruh, what are you doing? I'm like, okay, yeah, you throwing punches, okay, but dog, you're leaving yourself wide open. I mean, wide open. And every time he got knocked down, Snoop was, man, let me tell you something. Hey, man, yo, Snoop was so funny. The fact that people were actually forgetting that here we have this grown ass man stretched out, unconscious on the canvas, and because Snoop is singing hymns and saying you can't play boxing and you can't play this pimping, like that like totally made you forget that somebody had literally just got put to sleep. I mean, that was look, man. I feel bad for Nate Robinson's kids. And the crazy thing is that Jake Paul said that at the weigh-in before the day before the fight. He told Nate Robinson's kids, please don't watch this fight because I don't want you to see your dad get embarrassed. And damn it, Nate Robinson's kids, I hope they still doing virtual school. I'm serious. Because if they're physically going to school, Nate Robinson's kids gonna have to fight a nigga or two. I'm serious. Because you know how it is. I'm pretty sure their classmates know who their daddy is. And you know how kids are. They'll come into the Nate Robinson kids will come into the school. Everybody will get quiet but be looking up at them, you know, whispering shit. So you'll hear a couple of snickers in the background. Nate Robinson kid. I mean, if I was Nate Robinson's son, as soon as I got into school, the first person I saw crack a smile, bam, punch him right in the face. Or no, matter of fact, you got to find somebody equal to or bigger than you, and you have to just straight up go up to him and knock him the fuck out. I'm serious. Because you fighting for your family honor, man. I'm serious. I mean, if I'm one of Nate Robinson's kids, I'm already matter of fact, what the day is Thursday, I already slept a nigga on Monday. I'm serious. Because you know, Nate Robinson's soul has got to be messed up right now. For real. Because you literally got embarrassed and the world saw it. And you know, social media is ruthless. And you were made a meme within 5 minutes of you being put to sleep. And it's like, yo, I'm glad he's okay. But he's never gonna live this down. Never. Unless he comes back and does the same thing to Jake Paul. And I don't think Nate Robinson needs to get back in a boxing ring. Look, just because you're an athlete doesn't mean that you can fight on a technical level. I ain't talking about street fighting, and that's what it looked like Nate was in there doing. It looked like he was in there street fighting, bro. But like I said, I feel bad for his kids. I really do, because I mean, if I'm one of his kids, I am dropping somebody at school immediately. I don't care if I am doing virtual school. As soon as we get back in school, I'm knocking somebody the fuck out to prove my point. I wish y'all would say something about my dad. Wow! I mean, I'm serious. I just have to take the suspension. I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. You know why I had to do this? Oh, man. Like I said, I don't mean to laugh, but it's like my man was face down, ass up. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, man. I'm just glad he's all right. But this what's crazy is that you know, damn near upstaged the fact that Mike Tyson had returned to boxing. But again, the event itself was such a win. It really was. And the numbers from pay-per-view reflect that. And what I think is going to happen, now I heard Rosie Perez saying on Dan Le Batard that, you know, she didn't, you know, she could have did without the concerts. When she's watching a fight, that's all she wants to see is fight. Only singing she wants to see is the national anthem. I love Rosie, but, you know, I have to disagree with her on that one. What I think just happened at this Mike Tyson fight is some trend-setting stuff that you're going to continue to see in fights. Now, you may not see ESPN or Showtime pay-per-view or, you know, PBC. You may not see them have singers performing the unedited versions of their song, but to me, that's what I liked. That's what I liked the most about the event, the authenticity. They were keeping it 100. I mean, Wiz was smoking a blunt on stage. Snoop was smoking a blunt on stage. Mike Tyson apparently smoked a blunt back in the locker room before he went to fight. Yo, it is what it is. You know, it was entertainment. None of the fights that were seen as professional bouts, the other 4 fights, I'm pretty sure nobody got blazed because it was a professional bout. They do get tested after these fights. But the undercard fights were good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the fight. I really enjoyed the fights. I really did. They were on point. The music was on point, and I really think you're going to start to see this. Because for one, like I said, it was just $50. And you got 4 different music acts. You got 5 fights. You had hilarious commentary. I mean, Snoop was commentating just like he was a fan sitting in your living room. Who was sitting in your living room, having a drink, having a smoke, whatever. And everybody loved it. I know I did. I had a ball Saturday watching that event. I really did. You know, I really, really did. I had so much fun. And, you know, y'all know how I do with fights. You know, I was the king of the house parties when I was younger, and that then developed into the king of the fight party. Because of COVID, it wasn't going down like that. That's why I would like for this Tyson Holyfield 3 fight to be, once this stuff is kind of chilled out, vaccines have been given out, so I can do my thing, the way I do my thing, okay? So, I mean, and quick note before I move into the topic of the NF or the L, there's another big fight this week coming up between Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. I'm going to pick Errol Spence to win. Garcia is no slouch. He's a former champion. But what I want to know is, when is Errol Spence going to fight Terrence Crawford? Because I'm telling you, Mike Tyson is going to outsell and outshine these young fighters in their prime, because we would rather see Mike Tyson fight Roy Jones Jr. or Evander Holyfield, or get Lennox Lewis or dust Buster Douglas fat ass off and get him in the ring. We'd rather see that than 2 guys in their prime who aren't fighting each other. And by that I mean Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. That's the fight we want to see. That's the biggest fight in boxing. So I think Errol Spence is going to handle his business. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a very good fight. But I want to see him get in the ring with Bud Crawford. And the thing about it is, I know Bud Crawford is chasing the money fight with Pacquiao, but it should be a good fight. I would order it, but look, I just ordered the Mike fight last week. I have to be responsible. I'm just being real, being 100 with you. I mean, I can catch that fight. I'm sure it'll be up on YouTube within the hour after it being over. It'll be up on YouTube for a couple hours before YouTube blocks the shit. So yeah, I'll catch it. I'll catch it either in the wee hours of Sunday morning, or I'll catch it just straight up Sunday once I wake up, either probably before I watch football. But yeah, going with Spence by unanimous decision. I see him winning maybe about 8 rounds and Garcia winning about 4. And yeah, I see him handling his business. But yo, it's time to get your ass in the ring. Glad you're okay and recovered up from that nasty accident. But it's time to get your ass back and time to get your ass in the ring with Terrence Crawford. Y'all need to settle that. So now it is time for me to go to the NF of the L, people. And I will start from recapping quickly what happened in Week 12, starting with the Thanksgiving games, the game that nobody really cared about, Houston Texans at the Detroit Lions. Deshaun Watson put on a show. If Houston's record wasn't so bad, Deshaun Watson is having a hell of a year. And I looked at their schedule, and I'm not saying this because they were my dark horse team. Now, on Friday, I looked at their schedule and said, they're going to win the rest of their games. Then I just found out Will Fuller got suspended for the rest of the season for PED stuff. Now, not so sure, but I believe, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Houston wins the rest of their games because Deshaun Watson is just that damn good. And then, as you know, the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, which was supposed to be the prime-time game, that got moved back 3 times. I'll get into that in a minute. But last week, I predicted that the Cowboys would beat the DC Dick Itch, all in the means to jinx them, and it worked. The DC Dick Itch beat the hell out the Cowboys, 41-16, just basically proving again what I said time and time again about those stank-ass Cowboys. I mean, fans actually have the nerve to get up and pump their chest out when they win a game for the first time in 6 weeks. You're pathetic. They're pathetic. Bye. Now, on the Sunday's game, my NFC dark horse team at the beginning of the season, who has let me down immensely, the Atlanta Falcons beat the hell out of the Vegas Raiders. I mean, 43-6. People were viewing the Raiders just a couple of weeks ago as a damn good team, a possible threat. I don't know about that. You go to Atlanta and you get whiz-axed like that? Okay. Next game, Buffalo beats the Chargers 27-17. Let me backtrack a bit. Houston beat the hell out of Detroit, which finally got Matt Patricia fired, who should have been fired a long time ago. You come in because you're part of the Belichick tree and you suck for over 2 years, replacing a guy in Jim Caldwell who was okay, who was a good coach for the Lions. That's how dumb the Lions are as an organization. Anyway, had to get that off my chest. Again, yes, Buffalo beats the Chargers. Buffalo is now 8-3. Next game, the Giants beat the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow. But why is it significant for the Giants? Because they're now in first place in the horrible NFC East. When the Dick Itch beat the Cowboys, that put them in first place. But now the Giants have the same record as the DC DIs, and they hold the tiebreak because they beat them twice. 2 of their 4 wins, people, in Week 12. 4 wins and 7 losses is first place in the NFC East. Pathetic. Anyway, and game for first place in the AFC South, the Tennessee Titans beat up on the Indianapolis Colts, returning the favor, winning on their home turf as the Colts had done to them 2 weeks prior. Winning 45-26, Derrick Henry rushed for $178. He's putting himself in that MVP category. Key game to try to keep your playoff hopes alive between the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. It looked like Carolina was going to get it done in Teddy Bridgewater's return to Minnesota, but a late Kirk Cousins touchdown pass to Don Beebe's son won the game for him, 28-27. Carolina missed a 54-yard field goal as time expired. Cardinals went to New England. That's a game. If you're the Cardinals, you're a franchise on the rise. You see New England's reeling. You're supposed to win that game, but they did not get it done. The Patriots won 20-7, keep their slim playoff hopes alive. The Dolphins, what do you do when you lose a game? When you have a win streak of yours snaps, you play the New York Jets. then that's what the Miami Dolphins did. Even though Ryan Fitzpatrick started because Tua had a hurt thumb, the Dolphins took care of business. They won 20-3. They are now 7-4. The Cleveland Browns. Remember, last season when Cleveland had all this hype with them and they were losing, you couldn't stop talking about them. You couldn't stop criticizing them. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-25. Doesn't matter if it's pretty, but they won. The Cleveland Browns are 8-3, and you barely hear anything about them now. That's crazy. So it's like, if I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm going to say, hey, why the hell y'all keep pushing back the goalposts when it comes to us? Cleveland hasn't been 8-3 in 26 years. Playoff bound, maybe? It's looking like it. The New Orleans Saints beat my beloved Denver Broncos 31-3. Get this, we didn't even have a quarterback. All 4 of our quarterbacks had some COVID situations. What the holy hell? We had a practice squad wide receiver. Why? Because our practice squad quarterback, who's Blake Bortles, that's where he should be, but he even had a COVID issue. So we completed 1 pass for 13 yards the whole game. Now, New Orleans didn't do much better. Taysom Hill only had 85 yards. Yo, note to Sean Payton. If you think Taysom Hill is your replacement for Drew Brees, you are sadly mistaken. I'm not trying to be funny. We're looking at Tim Tebow all over again. And I even think Tebow throws better. San Francisco beat the Los Angeles Rams. That's a damning loss for Los Angeles, because they had a chance to continue their case to be made to be the best team in the NFC. Now they fall back into that logjam, which is the best division in football, the NFC West. They lose 23-20. Kansas City went into Tampa Bay and handled their business. The defending champs won 27-24. In a game where you really thought that Kansas City could have thrown up damn near 50. And what we're finding about with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just because you got a bunch of eye candy doesn't mean as sweet as candy, okay? Because they're 7-5 now. I remember hearing some people on ESPN saying, "Oh, the Bucs are the team to beat." Shit, no, they're 7-5. There's a chance that they might not make the playoffs, but I don't see that happening. I think they'll make the playoffs. But they might end up having to go to Green Bay to face the Packers because they won. They stay right on New Orleans' tail for number 1 in the NFC, beating the Chicago Bears 41-25. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good. The Bears brought back in Mitch Trubisky, and he looked like garbage. Monday Night Football game, the Philadelphia Eagles are an absolute mess. They lost 23-17 to the Seattle Seahawks, who are back in first place in the NFC West. And finally, yesterday, on Wednesday, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the COVID-bitten Baltimore Ravens by a score of 19-14 in what was an ugly game. RG3 got the start, but what does RG3 do every time he plays in a game? He gets hurt, which is why he is where he belongs as a backup. Now, how did COVID affect the schedules? Well, it is Thursday. Today was supposed to be the Ravens versus the Cowboys, but the Ravens just played yesterday. So how's that going to affect the Cowboys and Ravens? They don't play again until Tuesday. How about the Pittsburgh Steelers? They were supposed to play Monday against the good old DC Dick Itch, but guess what? That had to be moved back. That will be next Monday night. I mean, it is what it is. The NFL is trying to plow through and get everything taken care of. And now I will quickly go over my predictions for this coming up Sunday. New Orleans at Atlanta. I'm calling an upset. I said the Falcons would beat the Saints once this year. I'm sticking with it. I have Atlanta winning. Detroit at Chicago. Do you really care? I mean, you have one coach in Detroit that's already been fired. You're going to have another coach in Chicago that's going to be fired. I actually think Detroit will get their revenge from the game that they blew to Chicago. Big game, Cleveland at Tennessee. Ooh, that game is going to go fast because you have three of the best running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt against Derrick Henry. I really think that the Browns have something to prove. I'm going to reluctantly go with Cleveland because I think they want to shut people up. Cincinnati and Miami, you'd have loved to have seen this be Burrow versus Tua. You might see Tua, you might not. Either way, I have the Dolphins winning. Jacksonville at Minnesota. Minnesota's starting to creep back into a wild card spot, wild card conversation anyway, at least with Tampa Bay and the Cardinals slipping. What do you do if you're the Vegas Raiders and you need a win after you've lost a couple? You face the New York Jets. That's who the Vegas Raiders have to play. They'll get their act back together. They will beat the Jets. Colts at Houston. I'm going with the Texans. I think in head-to-head matchup, the Texans are just better than them. Rams at Cardinals. This is a big game. Both teams coming off of losses. I am going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I think their defense is going to get back together. Giants at Seahawks. Seattle is going to put the hammerlock on the Giants. They will win. Philly at Green Bay. Philly's a mess. This would be the type of game that they win, but I'm rolling with Aaron Rodgers. Patriots at Chargers. Now, conventional wisdom tells you that Bill Belichick always has success against young quarterbacks. However, I don't think that will be the case against Justin Herbert, and the Chargers defense is actually starting to get healthy. I like the Chargers, and Anthony Lynn, he is on the super duper hot seat. Sunday Night Football, my Denver Broncos will go to Kansas City and get absolutely waxed. Right now, nobody's messing with the Chiefs right now. I really think legitimately only two teams can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New Orleans Saints, because they are complete teams from head to toe. But New Orleans ain't beating Kansas City with no damn Taysom Hill, that's for sure. Two Monday Night Football games. DC Dickich at Pittsburgh Steelers. I got the Steelers winning, and they will improve to 12-0. People are starting to think that undefeated talk is getting real, is getting legit. And then the actual scheduled Monday night game, the Buffalo Bills at the San Francisco 49ers. I like the Bills. They are starting to smell that division, even though you got Miami hot on your tail. That's another thing. You know you have to keep winning. You will know what the Dolphins did by the time you take the field on Monday. So that's very interesting. That's a big game for Buffalo, as San Francisco is low-key starting to get healthy. People need to pay attention to that. So that is my NFL predictions. So I will now go forward to the NBA of the A. There has been a lot of noise in the NBA that has been made. The season actually starts December the 22nd. But there's been a lot of trades. There's been some free agent signings, most notably LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Of course, we know the Lakers are the reigning defending NBA champions. We know Anthony Davis was a free agent. So the question is, what was he going to do? I mean, pretty much, we had no doubts that he was going to come back to the Lakers. But it was more like, what kind of contract was he going to sign? Was he going to sign a short little 2-year deal or a 3-year deal with the third being a player option? Who knows? But what he did was he signed a max deal, 5 years, $190 million, to stay in LA. And just not too long, about maybe a day before, LeBron James signed a 2-year extension with the Lakers at $88 million, or between $85 and $88 million, if I'm not mistaken. So what we do know is that we're going to have Anthony Davis and LeBron on the same team going through 2023. And that would be LeBron's 20th year in the NBA. So what do we think is going to happen? I mean, clearly the Lakers are going to be the favorite. I mean, they have reloaded. I mean, it depends. Like, my uncle texted me a couple days ago asking me what did I think of the Lakers roster. I mean, I didn't like losing Rondo, but it didn't surprise me because Rondo had got his dollars up with the way he had played this past postseason. You know, playoff Rondo is real. You know, he might even try to deny it, but you look at Rondo in the regular season and you look at Rondo in the playoffs, it's clear. You know, there's a difference. Danny Green's a good defender, streaky shooter, good defender. Dwight Howard brought a lot of energy off the bench. I actually think that he should have been starting, but I wasn't mad because I've always liked JaVale McGee, and we lost him too. So we lose Rondo, we lose Danny Green, we lose JaVale McGee, we lose Dwight Howard. But we pick up Dennis Schroeder. We pick up Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers. He was the 6th man of the year. That's big time now. We pick up Marc Gasol from the Toronto Raptors. A lot of people don't remember, but Marc Gasol was originally drafted by the Lakers way back when and was actually traded to Memphis, where he played most of his career. He was traded to Memphis for his brother, for Pau Gasol, who went on to win 2 championships with Kobe Bryant. Now, Marc has won a championship with Toronto. So it's like, if you're a Laker fan, did you get better? Did you stay the same? LeBron thinks that they got better because they got younger. I think that they will be a liability on the defensive end because Marc Gasol, you have to ask yourself how much is left in the tank. He'll be in the right positions defensively, but will he be able to necessarily make the plays that a JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard would make? And with that being said, as far as LA teams, the Clippers, they got Serge Ibaka pretty much to replace Montrezl Harrell. I think that's an upgrade because Serge is, to me, still a better defender, and he can spread the floor. He can shoot the 3. Trez was an inside presence. To me, Montrezl Harrell, to me, has always reminded me of Ben Wallace with slightly less athleticism, well, a lot less athleticism, and a better offensive game. That's what he reminds me of. But the Clippers haven't gotten what they needed. They needed a point guard. I know they just re-signed Reggie Jackson, but they needed a legit point guard. And I know they were trying to get Rondo, but we'll see. With the unfortunate injury to Klay Thompson, which really to me puts a bummer on the Western Conference, it looks like, again, the Clippers may be the biggest threat. Now, we don't know how the Denver Nuggets are going to ascend, how they're going to grow. They're still a very young team. We don't know what Portland is going to look like, especially coming back all healthy. I think they're a team to be reckoned with. We don't know what Phoenix is going to look like with Chris Paul coming over to Phoenix and with the addition of those players. We don't know what Houston is going to look like. I'm going to get into that in just a second. But the Lakers look like they should be the favorite. They're going to play the Dallas Mavericks on Christmas Day. Just found that out. I don't know why they didn't put them up against Miami, but, it is what it is. So, but that looks very interesting. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference, Kevin Durant's ready to go. I think Kevin Durant is going to come back looking great. I think the Nets, I don't think they're going to pull off that James Harden Brooklyn deal, and I'm glad, because I think the Nets have enough talent around them where if they mesh together right, they should be the favorite to come out the East, or at least right there. It'll be, to me, the Eastern Conference is going to be a 3-team race between Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Boston. I just don't, you can never count out Toronto, because Toronto is just scrappy. They're gritty. They're champions. And I just don't know about the 76ers yet, because if you're planning to start Dwight Howard with Joel Embiid, you're going to be offensively limited possibly, because Ben Simmons don't shoot. And I mean, I have to see what Doc Rivers does with the Sixers. I don't doubt that they'll be a better team, but a threat to come out the East, I don't know. I can't put them over Brooklyn. I can't put them especially over, and I'm guessing off of Brooklyn because I haven't seen Kevin Durant and Kyrie play together, so I would be guessing as far as Brooklyn is concerned. I pretty much know what to expect with Boston and Milwaukee and Miami. They're the defending Eastern Conference champs. I can't summarily dismiss them out of the equation. But a new team that could possibly be in the playoff mix, at least the playoff mix in the Eastern Conference, is the Washington Wizards. Why? Because yesterday they made a trade, seen as a blockbuster trade. They traded John Wall to Houston for Russell Westbrook. Now, how do we feel about that? Because essentially, you just swap bad contracts, to be honest with you. I mean, the only other team that could possibly take on Westbrook's contract is a team like Washington because of the contract John Wall has. And John Wall hasn't played in 2 years because he had a knee injury, and then from rehabbing from his knee injury, he ruptured his Achilles. Now, I've heard that John Wall has regained a lot of his quickness and explosiveness. That remains to be seen. You have one guy in Westbrook who's 32 years old, another guy in John Wall who is 30. James Harden is clearly wants out of Houston, but Houston is kind of being like, well, you know what? Deal with it. You signed the deal when we offered you this money. Deal with it. We'll see. The coach, Steven Silas, says he's giving James Harden space. Okay, give him all the space you need. Have your ass in training camp when it's time to roll. Or have your ass on the court when it's time to roll on December 22nd. It is what it is. But I think if John Wall, gee whiz, 2 years, man. You probably won't see the real John Wall or what's left of John Wall because now he's getting older until, 2022, possibly. I'm interested in that. Now, Russell Westbrook, if Russell Westbrook can mesh with Bradley Beal, I think they could have a pretty entertaining team in Washington. And, they're talking about, well, Bradley Beal might get traded. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook in the Eastern Conference. Now, the Eastern Conference, that is top heavy. I will say this. You got Brooklyn, Boston, Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, Toronto. So you got 6 teams that you pretty much are going to pencil in there. So then you got 7 and 8. You're battling with Orlando. You're battling with maybe Detroit. You don't know. So do the Wizards have enough to slide into that 7th or 8th spot? I think they do. Because I just named you 6 teams that, like I said, barring any catastrophic injuries to any top-notch players, you can pencil in the playoffs when it comes to the Eastern Conference. The West may be a little more complicated because, you'd like to think a couple of teams who missed the playoffs will be battling their way back in. I don't know if I can say that about the Spurs, but you hope that the Warriors can at least make some type of noise. But LeBron and AD inked with the Lakers for a minute. They should be the favorites, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. So, oh, man. With that being said, folks, try to do my little 10-minute segments on each topic. But with that being said, what a buzzer, what a buzzer, what a buzzer. Oh, it is the holiday season now. It's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. And hopefully for everybody it is. I just, hope people continue to stay conscious, to continue to stay woke. And I just want everybody to remember, just because, there's a new president coming into office doesn't mean that we should just summariously just go back to the silence that it was when it comes to social justice, because we still have a long way to go. And we still have dumb stuff happening across the country. When you have a 19-year-old getting shot and killed, 19-year-old unarmed black man getting shot and killed over loud music, and the white person who pulled the trigger says the age-old tired-ass line, I was in fear for my life. Bro, I am so sick and tired of hearing that shit. Why is it that when a white person kills a black person, an unarmed black person, they were in fear for their life? But you got the weapon. You got the weapon. So who should be fearing for what? That's crazy. That just makes absolutely no sense. That is just the biggest hypocritical load of bullshit that honestly, for real. So, I want everybody to have happy holidays, but I want everybody to be safe. It's look, I'm not trying to be funny. Y'all know I'm not trying to be funny, racially insensitive or anything else, but black people, we still ain't on the same playing field yet. History was made with this election, but we still not on the same playing field yet. So we need to keep our eyes open, be aware of our surroundings, and just avoid dumb confrontations as much as possible, because it's bad enough that we look to take us out, but they are looking to take us out still as well. But anyway, this has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. If you have not hit that subscription button when it comes to Sports Plus Life, push that subscription button and join the Sports Plus Life family. It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, okay? Another episode. Everybody be good, be cool. I love y'all. I'm out this. Peace.